Okay, today, boys and girls, we are going to talk about doing the printmaking part of our project. So you can see my design from last year. It's going to be a little bit different because we're going to be using a slightly larger piece of foam, and this foam is going to be our printing plate. So you can see the design that I used last year and how it printed. So it looks kind of like this. However, when I did it, it's like backwards. So it's interesting to see how you get a mirror image once you print it down. So you kind of have to keep that in mind when you're making your image. We want to think about this design as happening 4 times, and we want to keep the center going the same way. So we're going to be using an arrow, drawing an arrow on our piece of styrofoam so we know exactly where it should be pointing towards the center of our paper. Because a lot of friends last year were a little confused about that. They're also confused about putting it in the center, so I made sure that this is exactly the size of 4 times to fill the space, okay? So before we do the printing, we have to draw the designs on the inside of the foam, like you see here. So I want you to think of just using lines and shapes. No actual objects, because remember, these are going to be printing backwards. Definitely no letters or numbers because, again, it prints backwards. So just sticking to lines and shapes. Keeping in mind, you're going to be getting this design 4 times. So I'm going to go ahead and create a design, and what I'm going to do is draw in the foam so that I'm pressing down into it. So it's making a bumpy texture, because what's going to happen is everywhere you have a line, the ink will not go inside of there. It will not print anything, and that's where we're going to see your color burst designs showing through. So if you really love how yours turned out and how colorful it is, make sure you get lots of lines on your design. So I'm going to go ahead and create a design. So I want to do a couple of these rows of circles so that I'll end up with a larger circle. And I'm going to make some designs on the inside. So just make sure that you're using a pencil that's fairly dull, which shouldn't be a problem in here. So if you think, oh, my pencil needs sharpened, don't, because you don't want too sharp of a pencil, because we don't want any holes in this. We don't want to poke it through, okay? So I'm going to create this design, pressing down into the foam. So you can create whatever design you like, but just make sure it sticks with lines and shapes. If there's a line you can't really feel so much, like over here I could go a little deeper, you can go back and make those lines deeper. So this should be nice deep grooves, okay? Okay, so here is my design. So now I'm ready to print. Make sure you don't forget to do the most important step of adding an arrow on the back of your design. So you can see this is the center of my design, part of it, and as I print, I want this to go around to create kind of like a diamond shape. So it was very important that I put this arrow here, knowing that I need to make sure that this goes to the center. So every time I print, I would have to make sure that this arrow points at the center point of my design.